So welcome.
It's already 6 months ago that this drone came out. Time really flies. And this drone still does too, even after all that abuse it went through. But that's a different video. Today, we're going over what I think of this little buddy here and whether or not it's worth spending your hard-earned cash on. First up, the sensors. Like you've already noticed in different videos and reviews, it now has sensors all around. And that's good news for flying without having to worry about it crashing, right? Well, it's not that simple. I must say I did enjoy it a lot, but the feeling that it left me with was a bit underwhelming. It's of course not as fast when having obstacle avoidance enabled. If you think you can film yourself on a bike and really show off, yeah, that's not going to happen. It's just too slow. I filmed this on sport mode because it couldn't handle the speeds higher than like 35 kilometers per hour. And that's something I did see in certain reviews. But on all of those videos, they had something in between them and the subject to make it look more cinematic and as if it had more speed to it. So here I was deceived again. Don't get me wrong though, you can get awesome shots with this drone, but really the big thing were the sensors, and that's just not what it seems. Yeah, sure, if you want to go through a forest at 10 kilometers per hour and make it look cinematic while still avoiding 3 branches, cool. But it's not like you can follow a car or motorcycle on decent speeds and expect it to still do everything. So this is also a big part, lowering the expectations. If you want to make cinematic shots of you driving a car in a big open field, yes, it can certainly do that perfectly well. But then again, it doesn't need the obstacle avoidance for that. It also features this dial which you can manipulate to make the drone fly where you want it to. So turn around me one time, or film from the front or the back, or even the sides. It's all pretty cool. I noticed though that even on a big open field, or beach in my case, the drone really had difficulty following me around. And it should have been pretty easy. Of course with running and ducking, I can understand. But sometimes it just lost me while running, and that really defeats the purpose for me. I also noticed that even with obstacle avoidance on, I would still need to save it. So having that on isn't a guarantee at all. And I think some people do think that it is. Once again, it has its moments where it's very impressive. But also, and sadly more than you wanted to, it's very dumb moments. And that's just so underwhelming because it's already very slow in comparison to having it off. And for it to then fail even with those speeds is just not what I wanted out of this one. But we cannot forget how much this has improved over the years. And I'm hopeful that in a few years it will be so good, you will see this one as just a test project. I honestly think DJI just wants to give as much value for as low of a price as possible, and I can appreciate that. Still, it will leave you a little underwhelmed on the tracking/AI features. Now over to the smart controller. In comparison with the DJI Mini 3 Pro, this controller has had some upgrades too. The 5.5-inch display is still 700 nits. And I think it's just not enough. For example, my iPhone 15 Pro has 2000 nits, so my experience is once again the same, in that I'd rather hook up my phone if it's better, because in sunny environments it's just not enough, and you will be squinting a lot at your screen. In the shadows though, more than enough, and even on cloudy days, also more than enough. The startup time was also improved. From my experience, it was much faster. And that was a big disadvantage too with the DJI RC1. It just took a long time to start up. The antennas also help with the improved range it now has. And that's really something I noticed, especially at longer distances or with houses or trees in between you and the controller. The connection is then very stable. The controller still has those screw-on sticks though. And the thread is once again so thin, I am baffled why they don't improve this experience. If I'm at the spot where I want to fly, I don't want to have extremely small threads on the sticks because it's finicky. You drop them occasionally since they are so small, and thus it's definitely something you must buy an extra pair of in order to replace it on the spot if you cannot find them anymore. I still have the sticks laying around of the DJI Mini 2, and those are a lot less finicky with bigger threads. Or make them magnetic, even better. That's something I missed on the storage of these things as well. It didn't feel secure enough. Even though they are very tightly secured in there and never fell out once. It just would have been nice to hear a click or that magnetic pull when you attach them to the controller. just for that extra security. With the Fly More bundle, you get 3 batteries, and I must say those batteries perform really well and improved in comparison with the 3 Pro. Sometimes I was very surprised at the percentage I still had left after flying for a pretty long time, so nothing to complain there. And they work awesome. The batteries also have controlled self-discharge, which basically means that they will go to 96% after being idle for 3 days and to 60% when idle for 9 days, to avoid swelling or damage to the battery. And this is all very good for the battery health, but it's something you must remind yourself of a lot. It's not like you can charge the battery and use them in a week, because they won't be full any longer. And I struggled with that, but that's my problem and not the product's. For the usual use cases of this drone, meaning landscape shots, the more cinematic type work, it's awesome. And even with the AI features, it also works. But just don't expect wonders from the obstacle avoidance, in combination with features you would expect on an FPV drone like speed, because that's what it lacks most in my opinion. Coming back to the damage done to this drone after testing it extensively, even a few months later it still works perfectly fine. And nothing has changed. So that's proof that this drone is very rugged too. The amount of times I've flown it into a tree was a lot. I've thrown water over it and even challenged the internals with flour. Yet nothing seems to care. Only my micro SD, which didn't survive the water test, was lost. And for what I've thrown at it, that's just amazing. Of course, the higher it falls from, the more damage will occur, but I still think my test is relevant in the sense that you shouldn't have to worry about it too much. My conclusion is as follows. Buy this one if you want just a drone for your holidays, hikes, or awesome trips. Also buy this drone if you want to use it professionally for real estate, maybe even inspection works or other instances where speed isn't a factor as much. And in all of those instances, still wait for a discount, because as it stands, you can also buy the Mini 3 Pro and not miss out on anything for a cheaper price. So I would really recommend that one to those that just want to save a little extra cash and still have most features. Like I said, if you go for the clamp controller called the RCN2, you will most likely have better nits for outside shooting, and you can save yourself even more money. Whatever you do though, I hope you will enjoy the experience, and if you still have questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond to everyone.